Welcome to another episode of the Sibling Rivalry MMA Podcast. Today we're joined by our guest, Paul Matthews. We talk about the fights from this last weekend, give our predictions from the upcoming fights, answer some fan questions, and we talk about which UFC fighter I can go the distance with. That should be the intro.
All right. So, we got a lot to talk about today.
Should we restart since I talked over it?
No.
We're just going in.
Yeah, I mean, I already restarted once for you. So, we got a lot to talk about today. First thing, last weekend's card. Turned out to be some pretty good fights. Jermaine Durandame versus Aspen Ladd, Uriah Faber and Ricky Simone, Josh Emmett and Rasad Bektik. Some unexpected stuff happening there. We can start off with Emmett versus Bektik because that fight was fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's the one I thought was going to be, probably the best fight on the card. Two really tough guys. This is Bektik. It's only his second loss. The first one being against Darren Elkins, which was a fight that he was dominating until Elkins had that big comeback at the end. And, Josh Emmett has obviously great knockout power, as he showed Saturday.
Yeah, I figured this fight would get stopped. Josh Emmett has a fuck ton of power. We've seen that every time he's fought. When he basically first jumped on the scene when he knocked out Ricardo Lamas and everyone figured out who he was. His fight with Jeremy Stevens was amazing as well. And then last fight, he fucking knocked Michael Johnson dead. And you were talking about that when we were watching the fight.
Paul. He's new.
I mean, he just looks... He is absolutely fucking huge at 145. Like, I think he could compete just as well at lightweight if he decided to bump up. But you said that fight with Johnson was at 145, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought he looked big, but I thought in that fight Johnson looked a little bit bigger than him, and he just pushed the pace from the beginning, and I think he dominated every round until that knockout.
Yeah. But big win for Emmett. That'll definitely move him up the rankings. And then, big surprise, Uriah Faber gets his first knockout since 2007 against Amanda Nunes.
What?
That was Ricky Simone. It looked just like Amanda Nunes and doing their face off.
I guess her picture I'm looking at right now does look like Amanda Nunes.
Like Amanda Nunes. I was like, whoa,
Fuck.
why are they letting him
I never
fight
noticed
Amanda
that.
Nunes?
Yeah, I went on record last episode to say Ricky Simone was going to beat the shit out of Faber.
Yep.
Same.
Yeah, and that didn't happen. He scared me at the start because Faber had like a weird stance and was like, I know at one point Simone threw a leg kick and Faber like tried to catch it with his hand and was not close. And I was like, he's going to set up and head kick the shit out of him. And then I think Simone did clip him at one point.
Yeah, he did.
And then Faber dropped a bomb on him and made him face plant. And his walkout was awesome too. That was the loudest I may have ever seen coming from my TV. Like, the crowd was going crazy for him.
Yeah, I haven't seen a crowd go that crazy for someone. Like, I was like on the same magnitude as like Connor's first couple of fights, like when he first got into the UFC.
People love Faber.
And at 40 years old, like, I haven't seen, I mean, unless if they're juicing, like, what 40-year-old looked that good in a fight coming out of retirement?
Yeah. I mean, he looked like he was just coming to have some fun and throw some bombs. I mean, he was like, always like, yeah, fuck this, let's just knock him out.
I mean, time off could have helped him too because he's super active when he was fighting. Like,
yeah.
He fought everybody. He fought guys that, I'm about to pull it up, that he shouldn't have been fighting because he was ranked so high, but he was just getting fights in. And he was in a ton of wars, too. Like, even the fight with Dominic Cruz, he was getting hurt in. Like, 2013, he fought 3 times. 2014, he fought 3 times. 2015, he fought 3 times. 2016, he fought 3 times. And then takes time off and fights in 2019. Probably looks the best he's ever looked.
Well, I mean, yeah, he got knocked out in the first. I don't know. I mean, if it's the best he's ever looked, it was awesome, but... Yeah.
It's probably the best he's looked since he's been in the UFC. He doesn't really, he hasn't knocked people out ever. Like you said, 2007, right?
Yeah, which is crazy.
And there's been a trend with, like, these old-timers coming back, like, post-retirement. Or, like BJ Penn, perfect example, like, can't seem to get a win. Which is totally different fighter, but
yeah,
it's refreshing to see somebody come out of retirement that's, a little bit older and get a win like that.
Yeah, I mean, last week I was like, no, Faber, don't come back. Because every time people do, they're not supposed to, and then they get their ass beat, and it makes me really sad. But he did it.
I think a good example would be maybe Carlos Condit. Condit took a lot of time off, but he was still good. and then he came back and he was terrible.
Yeah, that sucks.
But Faber, I mean, if anyone could do it, it'd be Faber, but I didn't expect that.
And then Faber responds to Cejudo after that.
He said, did you say what he said on Twitter? Cejudo was
That was
talking shit to him.
Yeah.
Faber said you can triple CD's nuts across your face or something.
CD's nuts will never not be funny. Yeah, that was funny. But he called him out in the cage. Well, because Cejudo called him out for some reason when he won. I really hope that fight doesn't happen.
I don't think it will.
I hope not.
You never
I mean,
know.
A lot of other people deserve it, but I mean, what? I don't know.
Dan
But
Henderson
whatever.
didn't deserve it, and they gave it to him because he was old.
Yeah, I wish Dan Henderson would have won that.
I thought there was a snake outside, and it was a goose. I just saw its neck, like, peeking through your blinds.
No, those
and I
little-
thought it was a snake.
Those little fucking
How
dino
pissed do you
ducks.
think Ricky Simone's newly wedded wife is that he postponed their honeymoon just to get knocked out?
I forgot. They got married like 15 days before the fight, and he postponed the honeymoon. He got face planted
Oh man,
by an
that's
old
tough.
man.
Damn, guys. Fuck. Yeah, that sucks.
All right. Main event, not much to talk about. Jermaine Duraname wins in 16 seconds. Think threw a right hand, dropped her, and the ref just said, "Fuck yeah, I'm ready to go home."
Yeah, I think that was an early stoppage, but I see why he stopped it. Because she hit her, and she went down and spun around, and then she, like, when she got on the ground, she just sat there. But, like, she didn't look like she was out. She looked like she was just like, oh, man, I'm on the ground.
I didn't even see the fight, but the only thing I see,
Glad to have you on, Paul.
I left kind of early that night. But when I was just reading some stuff on Twitter, the main consensus I got was that Lad had a really tough weight cut,
Yeah.
and that she just did not look fully there. Maybe that's, I don't want to say that's the reason why I got stopped. But it looked like she probably didn't have enough energy.
Yeah, at the weigh-in, she couldn't stand up, and yeah, it was bad. It was probably the worst one I've seen in the UFC in a long time, at least at the weigh-in.
Yeah, I mean, the weight cutting sucks. Just move up if you have to.
But now, I mean, if Cyborg doesn't fight Nunes, it's got to be Duraname, I would think. You know,
Yeah.
she beat Holly, she beat Pennington, she just beat Aspen Ladd.
Yeah, and she says she wants to fight, and she's not gonna just
Hide this time.
not fight somebody.
Yeah, she hasn't lost since 2013. It was against Amanda, so I mean, she's got to be next. She is good, but
She is good.
I'll never pick against Amanda again after picking
Yeah, I
against
mean-
her for Holly.
All right.
Next
Well,
week's fights.
Are we gonna move on to the next week? This is a great card. A lot of really tough fights.
Yeah, there's 6 fights on the main card, and I'm down to talk about all of them. They're all really good. First one, Andrei Arlovsky, Ben Rothwell, 2 old guys.
Yeah.
Old
I mean,
heavyweights going at it. Who's going to land the first punch?
I mean, yeah, exactly. I don't know what to say about this fight other than I hope Andrei Arlovsky wins.
Same. Ben Rothwell's super goofy and on steroids, so
That's why, that's why I'm taking him.
That's why you're taking
Yeah.
Rothwell. He is goofy, like he's a weird dude. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with Arlovsky just because. I mean, whatever. Yeah, like I mean, what are you gonna do? picking on
Arlovsky
this
probably
fight? Like,
will win, but I think I'm taking Rothwell for the same reason that
Dude,
we
I
took
don't think
Diego
it's even.
Sanchez.
I don't think there's even a probably. Like it's like either one of them can win. Like
it's
like
heavyweight.
two
Literally.
old guys that are just gonna go punch each other as hard as they can, and they're just gonna knock somebody out.
All right. Next one's a little tougher one.
Mm-hmm.
Alexander Hernandez and Francisco Trinaldo. Hernandez, his last fight was against Cowboy, and he was looking good early on. He was winning the first round. He might have won the first round. I kind of forget. But after that, Cowboy put it on him and beat his ass. He is a big prospect, though. A lot of people are hyping him up. And I don't know if Trinaldo is the guy to stop him. But Trinaldo's been in there with a lot of really good guys, and he's got some pretty good wins. So this is a pretty close fight.
Yeah, this is another tough one. I'm not sure who to pick here either. I'm gonna go with Hernandez.
Yeah, same.
I think I will too. I mean, Trinaldo has a lot more experience. He's fought. I mean, he beat Paul Felder, who beat Yancy Medeiros. He beat Ross Pearson. He beat Jim Miller, but he's lost to the top guys like Kevin Lee and James Vick.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. This is a good one. I think I'll go with Hernandez though. I don't think losing to Cowboy should derail all the hype he had. He looked really good in that fight to me, and I don't think Trinaldo would have put up that good of a fight against Cowboy. So
I think he's learned from that fight with Cowboy too, because I think the magnitude of it may have caught up with him in a sense, because he saw in the press conference, like, he was hella disrespectful towards him.
Mm-hmm.
But after having nothing but, positive things to say before the press conference, how grateful he was. And I think that might have been, he let that get to his head a little bit, that he was, fighting such a high caliber fighter. But I think he's going to learn from that and get back in the win column.
Yeah.
Plus his age, too. I mean,
he's young.
Yeah, he's
talking all that
26.
shit.
He sounded a lot more humble. I listened to him. He was on Ariel today, and I listened to a little bit of it, and he seemed a little more laid back.
Yeah, I bet.
Next fight, James Vick, Dan Hooker, two tall-ass dudes fighting at 155. Vick was on a roll for a little bit and kind of fell off. Dan Hooker is a beast, one of the hottest fighters right now. He did lose recently to Edson Barboza, but, I mean, that's a tough fight.
Knocked out in the 3rd round.
But I think that's a good fight, too. They're both, the only thing that comes to mind is they're both super tall. I don't know who I'd pick in this. James Vick is probably the favorite. I haven't seen the odds, but I think I would pick Dan Hooker. I'm a big fan of his, so.
Yeah, I think Dan Hooker also. This is, another. There's a lot of tough ones to call, and yeah, I'm gonna go with Dan Hooker. You know what? By knockout or TKO.
I think so too. Yeah, if he wins, he's gonna knock him out. I think.
You gonna pick a round two?
It's a 3-round fight. I'm gonna say in the 2nd round.
I'll go first.
I'll say 3rd then.
Wait, what'd you say originally? I thought you just said
didn't
around
say
first.
around.
Oh.
All right.
Fuck
Didn't
it.
James Vick just get? Oh, he
James
lost
Vick
to Paul Felder last, but before that, he got knocked out by Justin Gaethje.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Straight right to the face.
All right.
Yeah.
Are
Next
we done
one.
with this? This one?
That
We're
fight?
to move on
Yeah.
to the next fight.
We can keep moving.
So, what the fuck is this?
Greg Hardy versus Juan Adams.
Juan Adams. Greg Hardy.
Who gives a fuck?
Greg Hardy.
I think Greg looked good in his last fight, even though he hasn't really been fighting.
Was the last one where he got disqualified?
Nah,
No.
he fought again since then.
He fought some Russian dude his last fight.
Oh my god, what?
That
Dude,
he fought that didn't Dana talk hella shit about that guy?
yeah,
Wasn't
so
that
did
that
I.
fight?
That guy looked like they just and wasn't that guy an Olympic wrestler?
I don't think he was an Olympic wrestler, but he was supposed to be a really good wrestler. Yeah, he looked
dude,
terrible.
I think he was on a world team. That guy looked like they just found him. Just some guy. They're like, hey, you look like you do a lot of steroids. Do you lift weights? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, you want to come fight? And he's like, yeah, I'll try it out. I've never done it before. That was the most embarrassing shit. And I was so embarrassed that they were hyping him up as such a good wrestler because it just made wrestlers look bad.
Okay, well,
That guy looked like dog shit. I haven't seen Greg Hardy look good yet.
on his Wikipedia, the only thing I see for wrestling, attained the rank of Master of Sport in Freestyle Wrestling.
Dude, I remember.
In wrestling over here says Master of Sport in Freestyle Wrestling, so maybe he's a liar.
Dude, I remember that now when he was walking out. It said Master of Sport in Wrestling, and I was like, what the fuck is that? I've never seen them put that on there. I was like, is this some new ESPN shit? Like, they don't know what wrestling is. And they're just like, Master of Sport in Wrestling. Or that's just what he said. He's like, I'm Master of Sport in Wrestling. And they're like, okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
You can fight Greg Hardy then.
Is he co-maining this event?
No, Olenek and Walt Harris.
Oh.
Which, that I'm excited about.
Olenek is fought
Hang on, I'm not done talking shit about
million
Greg Hardy.
times. Oh, go ahead. I'm all for that.
Nah, I'm done. Paul, you got anything?
On what, Greg Hardy?
He's
Yeah.
probably gonna win.
He's probably going to win,
Yeah,
but
who do we
I'd
pick?
love to see him lose.
Pick Greg Hardy. I mean, I don't know anything about the Juan Adams guy except that he lost to
That one guy that was actually a good wrestler.
an actual good Olympic wrestler. He's from India. I don't remember his name, but he just moved. He just got signed to ONE FC. He left the UFC, I think, coming off of a win.
They're just going to keep feeding him, like,
I don't know.
for lack of a better word, these turds to try and sell some big fight, I feel like. Just
I hope
'cause-
Juan Adams wins.
Yeah, I
He
do
seems
too.
like a good enough guy.
I'm gonna
I
pick.
don't know anything about him, but
I'm gonna pick Greg Hardy every time until he fights somebody that I've actually heard of, because I'm just gonna assume they're a shit can and they can't fight.
Yep.
well, Juan Adams fought. I think the guy's name's Arjun or something, but he fought him to a decision.
Okay, well I'm pretty sure the last guy that Hardy fought won a UFC fight. So
I'm gonna.
I don't think they'd give him
I'm gonna wait
anyone.
to pick on this one.
I don't think they'd give him anyone that they were impressed with.
I'm done picking emotionally though, because fucking
You suck on our
screwed.
picks. You have a losing record. You're losing to the fan vote on Twitter.
I know, but
That's impressive.
It's because I got myself all hyped up on the yes cartwheels.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. Let's move on. I'm really excited about this one. I love this guy.
Alexei Oleinik,
Yeah, I love him.
Walt Harris.
hmm
Oleinik is an insane jiu-jitsu dude. Just hits crazy shit. He fucking scarf chokes people and does
That Ezekiel choke.
Ezekiel
is
chokes
amazing.
people. Yeah.
I remember the first time I watched him fight in the UFC. He hit that, and I lost my mind.
He hits it all the time. He's hit it standing up too. Like he hits
Yeah.
it from bottom, but he hit it standing up.
That was the first fight. He was in the UFC. They were standing up, and he just wrapped his arm around the guy, and then the guy he took him down. He was in full. The guy had him in full mount, and he got it with that. After I saw that, I went over to my friend's house, and I made him let me do it to him to see if it worked, and it's so easy.
It works. Yeah, you just put your
It's
fist
the
in there.
easiest thing in the world. I don't understand why it doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
But he's just like, all right, well, if you guys aren't going to do it,
Well,
I'll
I
just do
bet
it
it.
to
I bet
everybody.
it's super hard to get your fist in there with the gloves.
Yeah, I'm sure it is harder, but I mean, he's got to have some big ass hands.
That's true.
So if he can do it, I don't see why the little guys can't.
Yeah,
do it.
like people mount him and he hits it on him from being mounted.
Yeah, it's amazing. He's 57-12-1.
Yeah,
That
he's
doesn't even
fought
sound real.
forever. And then Walt Harris is a guy that's on and off. Like he'll fight a good guy and lose, and then he'll beat somebody that's average. I would definitely pick Oleinik in this fight. I've never been super impressed with Walt Harris. He barely has a winning record, also. But
Lennox fights way better people too.
Yeah.
Like in his last 10, in his last one he lost to Overeem by TKO. And he has a win over Mark
that
Hunt,
happens.
Travis Brown.
yeah, no, he's gonna try to get to the ground. He probably will. I don't see if
He
those guys
doesn't
couldn't
seem
stop
like he's
him.
scared to stand.
Oleinik, his
Yeah.
stand-up's not horrible, but like
It's not great, but yeah, I mean, he'll do it. Yeah, I'm excited for that one. I'm gonna go with Oleinik too.
yeah, I don't think anybody would pick against him.
I'm really hoping for another Ezekiel choke. I love that shit.
Probably
it gets me so hyped.
That's probably what you'll get. I mean, he's gonna hit. He never hits normal submissions. When he submitted Travis Brown, it was like he hit like a rear naked kind of, but he was on the side, and it was super awkward. Like it was the weirdest looking thing.
What was it against that Junior Albini that he hit the Ezekiel choke on too?
I think so.
Yeah.
And Junior just like, why did I do that, man? Like it's the one thing I knew.
Did
I
it,
wasn't
yeah, he had
supposed
him
to
mounted,
do.
and then everyone saw it coming. Like he's gonna do it. No way! And
Did he
did
have
it.
him mounted in that too? I don't remember, but it was hilarious.
All right. And then the toughest fight on the card: Rafael dos Anjos, Leon Edwards.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
No idea what way I'm going to go with this one. So Leon Edwards obviously is on a big win streak. He's beaten a few good guys. He beat Cowboy and Gunnar Nelson. Dos
His last
Anjos,
loss is to Kamaru Usman, I think, back in 2015.
Yeah.
And other than that, he's beat everybody he's fought so far. Leon Edwards.
then Dos Anjos, he just beat Kevin Lee. Had back-to-back losses before that, but he just keeps fighting wrestlers. Like his last 3 fights have been against wrestlers. And earlier today I was thinking I would pick Leon Edwards just because he's on the up, and I think Dos Anjos might be on the down. But when Dos Anjos fights guys that he can take down, he pretty much always wins.
Yeah.
And I don't see why he wouldn't be able to take Leon Edwards down.
Yeah.
Like he's right in that area between, he's not with the top wrestlers, but he's right below him. Like if you're not an amazing wrestler and All-American, he can take you down.
Mm-hmm.
I go as far as say Kevin Lee is a better wrestler than Leon Edwards. And
Well,
you saw what RDA did
I
to
would
Kevin
say
Lee.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But-
Yeah, I was going back and forth on this one too, but I'm gonna say RDA too. What were you gonna say, Paul? Sorry.
Well, in our group chat, I said RDA, but I think Edwards. I'm on the fence. I'll probably wait until last minute, but because I'm kind of on the fence about it. But Edwards all around just looks more of a complete fighter. Like you're talking about, like his ground game, like his mount game is really good. He can submit people, but he's just overall a better striker too. But I think if it comes down to it, I don't think anyone's getting knocked out or submitted. I think it's gonna go. I could see it going split.
Damn, bold decision there. I think RDA is about as complete a fighter as you can get. I mean, he's good at everything.
Yeah.
He's really well rounded. I'm gonna say RDA. I think it's funny that we're all changing our minds though. So obviously this is a tough one.
Another thing though, Leon, like he moves very well. He's real light on his feet and moves a lot. And Dos Anjos throws really good leg kicks, so if he can slow him down with those leg kicks, that'll be a big
That's what I was
thing.
thinking too.
Because Edwards works really well off movement, and if RDA slows that down, especially early, Leon Edwards might be fucked.
Yeah.
And you could argue, too, that even though it was a great fight, you could argue that Edwards lost that fight to Nelson had it not been in, where was that, London? On that Till and Masvidal card.
That wasn't against Nelson.
You know what? I actually missed that.
That wasn't no. Leon Edwards finished Nelson, didn't he? Didn't he knock him out?
No, it went to split.
I thought that was a cowboy fight.
Mm-mm.
Oh shit, it did. Who knocked out Gunnar Nelson with a fucking eye poke?
What?
Gunnar Nelson, or it was against Ponzinibbio, wasn't it? That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I missed the card in London, so
Yeah, I mixed that up with Ponzinibbio. Ponzinibbio like poked him in the eye and finished him.
Yeah, it was really close. But it was kind of reminiscent of, like, when Henderson and Bisping fought there. A lot of people said, had it not been there as well, Henderson may have won.
I would like to say that, but I love Dan Henderson.
I thought Bisping won, but
I mean, for UFC, Bisping probably won, but Dan Henderson won the street fight.
Yeah.
He beat the shit out of him. He almost knocked him out the exact same way. It was awesome. But anyway, we got a lot of good fights coming up this weekend. It's exciting. Hopefully my record will improve, but I'm not confident.
yeah, this isn't a good fight to get your record. It might be though, because you might want to pick against what we pick.
Yeah, but then I might just keep digging myself deeper and deeper.
You just don't know fighting.
I just see myself climbing the top, just staying up in the rafters.
We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
All right, we got fan questions from Twitter.
We have fans.
First one from Wes Bernard. Who wins between Prime Fedor and Daniel Cormier?
Daniel Cormier.
Fedor.
Why?
I'd go DC.
Yeah, tell me why you think
Sheer power.
sheer power.
Fedor I think he fought way better people just in the Pride days than DC has fought, and, well, I guess that's debatable.
They both fought really
They
good
both
people.
fought really
Yeah.
good people, but I think it's just, I'm going off sheer size and power. Like, I would take Fedor, especially in his prime, unbeaten for 10 years.
So
They're
DC's probably bigger than Fedor. DC is bigger than Fedor.
He's at least fatter, for sure.
Fedor's not a big heavy.
I know.
Fedor's a small heavyweight.
Well, people call
But isn't
DC
it-
Black Fedor.
What's the height differential there?
I don't.
Not
I
that
don't think it
necessarily matters, but
I can look. Fedor's
DC
I'm sure
fights-
Fedor's a little bit taller. But
I'm
like
pulling
in their
up-
primes.
who you pouring up? Fedor? Oh,
No, I'm pulling up Cormier.
okay.
Cormier is 5'11".
Fedor's 6 foot.
Okay.
So an inch.
I'd say Cormier is pretty powerful.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'd say Cormier probably has better wrestling. I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. I'm a huge Fedor fan. That's why I take him. I like Cormier, but I don't know.
I would go
That's
DC.
actually, now you got me thinking, but no,
Yeah.
no, I'd still pick Fedor.
Okay.
I'd take him arguably by knockout.
Wow.
I think that's how he would have to win. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, there's no way.
mean, hell,
I mean, dude, come on.
DC's
Really,
only
be
been
honest.
knocked out by leaning into a steroid John Jones head kick. And Fedor doesn't really throw head kicks. So he'd have to fucking land a shot
Yeah.
on the chin, which Steve Hay couldn't even do.
Who do you think has better conditioning?
Neither of them have conditioning
Yeah.
problems, though.
But
Fedor doesn't get tired.
All right.
I would go DC.
Yeah,
DC.
I'd say DC. No. no, I'm sticking with Fedor.
All right, you can do that.
I think I was gonna say DC definitely has better conditioning, but Fedor would knock his ass out.
Okay.
I actually think it would make a big difference if it's in a cage or in a ring, though. Because I think DC would push forward and like get him up against the cage and probably take him down there and dirty box him. But in a ring, can't do that.
Yeah. All right. Next question.
All right. Will Jorge Masvidal fight Conor McGregor? And if they do, who wins? No, they will not fight.
Yeah, they're not gonna
Definitely
fight.
not.
And if they fought, Jorge Masvidal would beat him into the fucking dirt.
And that would probably end his career.
Yeah, man. I mean, everybody that wins a big fight calls Connor out, and nobody gets to fight him. So, I mean, I don't know why everybody keeps getting excited every time it happens. Like, oh, they're about to fight, and meanwhile, Connor's just on cocaine, just running through Ireland, banging hookers.
People thought Nate Diaz was too big to fight Conor. Masvidal is actually a 170. He did used to fight at 155.
Yeah, he fought at 155.
But that's been a while. And I don't think he looks like a small 170.
I think it could be a fun fight. I'd love to watch that fight.
No, I'd like it if
I'm
it
not
happened.
super. You guys are all saying definitely Masvidal. I think Masvidal would win, but I mean, I could see it being a good fight.
I don't.
But I also
think if Conor doesn't knock him out in the first, which nobody
He just
knocks
doesn't
out
seem as focused
Masvidal.
as he was. Like, you can tell us with all the shit going on with him outside of the octagon. But even in the Khabib fight, he just didn't look like he was like there. Like when he was at like featherweight, even in like the fight with Eddie Alvarez, he didn't look like himself.
dude, when he walked out for the Khabib fight, I thought he was drunk.
I did too. I did
His
too.
hair and his face, I was like, dude, this guy just got off a bender.
But Masvidal, who was the last person that even hurt Masvidal in a fight?
Wonder Boy.
I don't think he hurt him. He just picked him
I think
apart.
Wonder Boy.
He might have chipped his kneecap on Ben's cheek.
Yeah, fuck. He put a dent in Ben's forehead. I don't know. I never even knew this. Looking at his stuff, they had Gastelum versus Masvidal scheduled at one point. That would have been crazy. That would have been so fucking dope. Yeah, I don't know. I would go. I mean, people thought Cowboy and Conor would be a good fight, and Cowboy would win, and Masvidal beat the shit out of him.
I think the funniest
Yeah,
thing I've
you're
seen
right.
on MMA Twitter was when they were talking about Masvidal versus McGregor and how it would go. Somebody said, "Why would Conor fight somebody with 13 losses?" I think 10 out of his 13 losses are decisions, and like 5 or 6 of those, which I could be wrong, but like 5 or 6 of those are split decisions.
He does have a lot of split decisions.
Yeah.
I don't know how
to
many.
a lot
but
of top guys.
I know he
too.
lost to Iaquinta in a split decision. He lost to Maya in a split decision. So, and he also knocked Darren Till into another dimension. Which Conor, not a chance that would happen.
No.
Yeah, I would take Masvidal all day.
Yeah, I'd take Masvidal too.
All right, next
You can talk me into
next
it.
3 questions are from our cousin Vance.
Oh, thanks, Vance.
Runs Colts Corner. If you guys want to check that out.
Shout out the Colts.
Plug.
13-3.
So first one, Vance isn't. He likes MMA, not a huge MMA fan, as you can probably tell in these questions. Who's better? He worded it. Who's better, Silva or that crazy Russian? I'm pretty sure he was talking about Habib. So
And he's talking about Anderson Silva.
yeah, so obviously they're not fighting, but it is actually a tough question on who is better. Because Habib's never lost a round. They said he lost one against Conor, but and Anderson Silva's one of the best ever. Habib is one of the best ever. He's just not going to get the credit because he hasn't fought long enough. But like the dude's been the most dominant fighter. Like we saw Anderson lose rounds and get taken down by Chael Sonnen, and even early when he had the belt, he lost a round to Travis Lutter. Habib has never given anything like that up.
The Michael Jordan of Jiu-Jitsu.
Travis, oh yeah, fucking Goldberg.
I forgot about that.
Well, there's no shame in that.
He's like Michael, yeah.
He's like, no.
I feel like, fuck, man, I don't know. That's a tough question.
My hot take is I don't know.
Who's
Two
better?
totally different eras, too.
And like totally, their styles are completely different. Nothing is the same, except they're both really good.
I mean, you can't really do this, but I think if they were the same weight somehow, I think Habib would win. But you can't really say that or do that kind of a scenario.
Well, hope we answered your question, Vance.
All right, next one of Vance's wild questions. Which WWE wrestler would do well in the UFC since it didn't work out for CM Punk?
Brock Lesnar did pretty well.
CM Punk did not.
No. Bobby Lashley fights, and what's he fighting, Bellator?
He doesn't fight anymore, but he used to. Batista fought a fat dude and almost
Yeah,
lost.
that was crazy. If you haven't seen that, look that up. Batista MMA fight. He fought somebody's dad and
Didn't do great.
He honestly, the guy he didn't do that well. Didn't the guy have some like moments in the fight?
Yeah.
That was weird, man.
Kurt Angle would have done good in his prime.
Kurt Angle is an Olympic champ wrestler. He would have done great
The Rock is my choice.
with a broken freaking neck.
I don't watch WWE anymore, so
Yeah.
I don't really know who's in it. Hornswoggle maybe
Oh.
could beat Cejudo.
It'd be close. It'd be close.
yeah.
All right.
I mean, Hornswoggle was the champ at one point.
Probably everybody's been the champ at one point.
What about Eugene? he'd fuck with a lot of people's heads in the ring, like Nick Diaz.
Who's Eugene?
Is that the guy that has the snake?
He's like
puppet?
he was like real popular in like the late 90s, early 2000s. He has like the Jufro, but he acted fucking retarded in the ring. Like he used to like.
Oh, you're saying a lot of stuff we're gonna have to edit out here, I think.
I'm not editing anything out,
like,
so.
He used to like run around like yelling, having his tongue out, giggling like hee and whatnot. But he would just dominate like certain wrestlers.
Okay, so yeah, he'd do great.
Now, my favorite question. This will probably end up in a debate that might last a while. Could Brennan go the distance with the worst UFC fighter on the roster? Brennan?
Yeah. So that'll about wrap it up here.
No way. No, Brennan would not.
So let me
pick three.
Let me just say one thing. I'm just gonna say this. We were talking about CM Punk just a second ago.
He's not on the roster. I don't think he's on the roster.
I think he still is. If he's still on the roster, I'll fuck CM Punk up. Not only will I go the distance, I'll beat CM Punk in a fist fight.
I don't know if that counts because I don't know if he's on the roster. But I know. So
Well, let's look at it.
I don't know who the worst UFC fighter on the roster right now is, but I know at one point it was Cody McKenzie. I just remember that was like a known fact that Cody McKenzie was the worst fighter in the UFC, and he would tap you out in the first round 100%, no question about it.
I don't know who that is.
He would fuck you up. He was
So-
terrible.
But as of now, CM Punk is the worst fighter in the UFC, and
I don't think he's on the roster anymore.
I think he is.
I think he had a 2-fight. There's no way he had more than a 2-fight deal.
There's got to be somebody that can't knock me out in 15 minutes.
What weight would you fight at?
Oh, we're not doing weight classes. Or whoever it is, I'm gonna fight a 125 pounder, unless it's CM Punk.
I'm gonna try to Google who the worst fighter on the roster is, but I'm sure that's
And
not
it's
gonna
gonna be somebody who just some 125 pounder that wins.
All right,
the
MMA Junkie did a vote, and obviously CM Punk won, but that doesn't count. Hector Lombard's in this vote. That's stupid.
How's Hector
Oh,
Lombard?
Artem was on the roster. He would have
Well,
beat your ass.
He's not the worst guy in the UFC.
What kind of poll is this? Paige Van Zant?
I think you could win a split decision.
Oh.
with Paige Van Zandt.
Dude, yeah, there's definitely a bunch of girls that I can beat up.
Okay, we're not talking about girls.
They're in the UFC.
Yeah, like they're fighters.
Yeah. All right. So the answer to your question is yes. I think we settled that shit.
All right, if we're rolling with equality, then yeah. But if not, no. Brennan's getting his shit pushed in.
Well, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they'll all beat my ass. But you said anybody.
Even Jared Brooks. Well, he's
He's-
not in the UFC anymore.
Yeah, he'd beat my ass.
You did say drunkenly
Stop.
that Jared Brooks would not knock you out.
I was hammered. Don't say that because. Shut up.
You think Jared Brooks gonna watch? I'm gonna tag him in it.
Stop. Hey,
He's
we're
too
not-
busy making rap music. He's not gonna listen to this.
Come on, dude. We gotta edit all that out.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we are.
I would
No.
love to see Jared Brooks back in the UFC though.
He should be back in the UFC.
Had if Ian McCall not pulled out of that fight, I think he might have won, and that might have given the flyweight division a little bit of
Dude, he could have won
pizzazz.
every single fight that he had.
What's our time?
Like 33 minutes. He could have won every fight that he had though. Like he lost to Figueiredo, and that dude like is a top 8 fighter right now, and he won that fight. Like he beat the crap out of him and took
Yeah,
him down
that's
100
crazy.
times, and then he knocked himself out against Jose Torres.
who he was
Yeah, that's really
dominating.
unfortunate.
And then he beat Roberto Sanchez, and then he got cut.
Yeah, that's.
Those are the only 2 losses he has.
Because they thought they were gonna get rid of 125. Is he fighting anywhere now?
I don't think.
Yeah, he somewhere small. I saw he posted something about it.
Is he a part of an official promotion though, or is he just taking fights with like?
I think he's just fighting in like small stuff.
Well, hopefully he can get back in.
I mean, he should go. If not, he should go to 1.
Yeah.
I think he'd be great in one.
He fought in Japan. That's where he was before UFC. Was in Japan, right?
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
fighting at
he-
115.
It's crazy.
All right, I think that about does it. Any final thoughts you guys got before we wrap it up?
No,
I still stand by Fedor versus DC,
that's ridiculous.
but
All right,
thanks for letting me on my first sibling rivalry podcast. It was fun.
Thanks for coming on. You'll have to come back sometime.
if you're into horse betting, check out Paul's Twitter account where he will be giving out great picks and winning you a lot of money. What is it? PJ's Ponies Live.
Yes, at PJ's Ponies Live. We'll be doing picks starting, I believe, this Friday. First race is at 2:15. We're going to post all of the picks that we actually end up taking instead of just like sneaking in last-minute ones like we always do. But yeah, usually we'll do an exacta, superfecta, win-play show, something along those lines. And then as each race goes on, at the end of the race, we're going to post, if we do win or not, just to show you guys, we do know what we're talking about. We had a lot of big wins in the past couple weeks.
You want to tell them your win?
No, I don't want to get too cocky. No, okay.
You're going to post it on the Twitter.
Yeah, last Friday, last race, which is the only races I ever win money on, it was a 330-yard dash. I bet $1 on a superfecta that had crazy odds. I don't think any of the horses were negative odds, and it paid out 36.71. So, and then Jacob hit for 190 that last race too. So
yeah, go give them a follow. Follow us on Twitter at Rivalry MMA and at Third Sports. We will be back later this week, and thanks for watching.